April 17th, 2025, we saw a Nintendo Direct featuring Mario Kart World. This, I presume, was a way for Nintendo to try and justify the $80 price that they're charging for this game. The question on everyone's mind is, did they succeed? Before I get into that, this game has a lot going on. Open world design, what I can see and count, there are 29 tracks on the screen, plus they did allude to the Rainbow Road, making it about 30 tracks, and I don't know how you specifically unlock it, though they did say that if you completed I don't know if you've completed one cup or if you completed all the cups, then that track would unlock. There are lots of different modes for the game. You have like your battle mode, time trial, knockout mode, Grand Prix mode, and then there was like one other mode that I can't remember what it was. But there's a lot of different ways to play the game. Free roam was the other mode, yeah, where you can just kind of explore the world, which is probably what I'm going to spend 90% of my time doing in this game, is exploring the world, because there are a lot of cool little like secrets and hidden little nooks and crannies and collectibles and things, like collecting blue coins and collecting like these other coins, and there's P-switches, and there's a lot going on. And having the world completely interconnected is interesting. I find that interesting. But again, was it enough to warrant the $80 price? And now there are 24 racers that you can compete against. We still don't know the full complete roster of all the racers available, that they did highlight a few of them, like Cow and Spike and Goomba, along with all of the other favorites. There's different what do you call it? Different vehicles. Like you can race on water, which makes me wonder if we're going to see a resurgence of Wave Race pretty soon. Wonder if that's going to be a game that's going to be coming out. Like that seems like it would be a natural evolution if they want to kind of play off those water physics and just do something with Wave Race, which I would love, because I loved Wave Race. Loved Wave Race 64 and Wave Race Blue Storm. Wave Race for the Game Boy. I guess there was only 3 of them. But I'd love to see a Wave Race maybe come next year. You can fly, you can boat, you can be on a motorcycle, you can be in a cart. There's lots of new items. There's lots of new ways of traversing the environment, whether that be like rail riding or I guess wall running. What do you got? Wall driving? There's a cool rewind feature, which is, I thought, really interesting, because you could rewind, but then the other races are continuing on. So that kind of like broke my brain a little bit when I saw that. That was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, that's very cool. So if you really just want to focus on what is the best route to take in any given track, this is a great way just to kind of practice one section. And I wonder if you can even do that while even free roaming, being able to rewind and not necessarily just do it on a race, because there's nothing worse than having to like completely reset yourself to then be able to do something again. But just being able to rewind, 5 seconds or 10 seconds to get you back to where you were, so that you don't have to reposition yourself to try the trick again. But again, is that all worth $80? And coming from a Nintendo apologist, for me, no, it is not worth $80. There's just not, for me, enough value to warrant me spending $80 on this game. Does that mean that I don't think that it's not, that another gamer who loves Mario Kart, who plays Mario Kart with friends and family, who just really invests time into this specific style of game, is not going to get $80 of value out of it? Absolutely not. Like, for those people, $80 might be a reasonable price. But for this fella here, no, not really. When I look at value I get from other games that are less money, like there's Assassin's Creed Shadows, which I am using as part of the Ubisoft Plus subscription that I got for a year for a really good deal, which is the only reason why I got it. And there were several games that I wanted to play before that deal, before my subscription ends. But for $70, that game has a lot of things to do, a lot of value attached to that. Even games in a similar style, Forza Horizon 5, you probably can get for $60 or $70, has a lot of value to that based on the amount of things that you can do in that game. Even if we can even go back to like Burnout Paradise, which is also kind of an open world racing style game, like that has a lot of value for whatever it's charging right now, which I think it might be $20. So $80 for Mario Kart World, like that's a giant Nintendo tax right there. That's a giant Nintendo tax. And I just don't think it's worth that. Now, I'm hoping to get the bundle, which will include Mario Kart World for an additional $50. $50, yes. I think it's worth $50. I think it's worth $60, maybe even $70. Like I feel like that's where Nintendo needs to start pushing their games to. $60 or $70. $70 is probably the right choice right now with a new system. But not for $80. But man, it does look really fun. So when I first watched I watched this direct 2 times. The first time I watched it, I was like, yes, this is wicked cool. I really like this game. I'm going to love roaming around this game, finding all the secrets, finding all the collectibles, doing all the things, getting all the different outfits that you can acquire. And the second time I watched it, I was like, but am I really going to invest that much time into this game? And I may, just because there may not be a lot of games out for the Switch 2 when it's released. I know there's going to be a selection of third-party games as well as this game and Donkey Kong Bonanza. But I've played all those third-party games already. So while I may buy them, I may just like pop them in and check them out real quick. So this might actually be the game that I spend the most time with. But am I really going to spend a lot of time on this? Like, probably not. So after my second view of this direct, I thought, nah, $80, that's just too much. Get the bundle, get it for $50, worth the $50. Like, don't cheap out on the bundle. Get the bundle. All right. Well, that's all I got to say about this. If you have the capacity to like, comment, or subscribe, please do. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you soon. Okay. Bye.